Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fun-filled and exciting edition of the Mixtape. I'm Jason Emmett.
I'm Casey Masterpiece.
I'm Twisted Kid Matt.
I'm still alive.
Hey, you don't know how apropos that actually is, because when we had to re-edit the end of the last video, we said we murdered you.
Yeah.
He's like, it didn't
I'm still
work.
alive from other reasons.
It didn't work. He says. Yes,
Our assassins failed.
We're very glad that Stewie is doing well. I think we talked briefly about that he was going through some shit, but we didn't fill anybody in on what it was or anything. So we're just glad that obviously he's still with us because we failed. We failed to take
It's not for not trying.
Maybe next time.
So this week I put forth what do you guys want to talk about, and you guys came up with a topic, which is, hey, it's going to be cool and fun to talk about. A little different, a little bit of a departure from stuff we typically talk about on the show. They wanted to talk about toys that have been banned toys that were once prevalent in the marketplace and now are no more, or are, but in lamer fashion than the original. And
do those toys talk about MG? Is that why they're banned?
So anyway, you're banned. You are officially you are banned. Oh my god, dude, that was in the history of
awful.
Bad jokes. That might be one of the worst ones.
I like how we all just let it die too. We're just
We
like,
just sort of not
we're
me. I
giving
just
you
looked at
nothing.
him like, the fuck.
All right.
Don't you disrespect me.
I'm gonna be like Matt on this one. You can edit that out.
I'm gonna be like Matt. So we're gonna be talking about banned toys, and we're gonna start with the big one, the one everybody knows about, the one everybody talks about. We're gonna start with lawn darts.
Jarts.
That's okay. So I want to ask that question. I always called them lawn jarts growing up. What did you guys call them? Lawn darts or lawn jarts?
Jarts. J with a J.
Jarts.
I've always heard them as lawn darts.
I think they're both.
Is it
I think they
jarts?
were
I
Because
think
like
they were branded two different ways.
I think so,
lawn
too.
javelins or something.
That's what they should. That would have been a way more fun game.
I mean, that's probably why they called them jarts. Is javelin darts.
I want to play lawn javelin. That would be a way more dangerous, but way more fun game. You just have
Just tell your
no
little brother to
javelins
fucking
They have a bunch
run.
of people lined
Yeah.
up, they're like, and go. And
So-
you throw it at them.
A bunch
So
of neighborhood kids are being impaled.
Let's talk about this. So what they were is they're kind of weighted on one. They look like darts, and they're weighted on the front end, and the back end has a spot where you can hold it, and you kind of throw it up in the air, and you try to land it in a circle that you've put. However, it's
It's kind of like
feet of
cornhole
hole
or
before
being
cornhole.
big,
Right.
or being big toss.
They're all kind of like that. I mean,
Mhm.
even horseshoes
Horseshoes,
are kind of the
yeah.
same. very
Lethal.
similar. Yeah.
Horseshoes.
So, we're playing horseshoes. We're playing lawn darts. So you would toss it across the yard, try to stick it in the ring. I mean, I can see how
God
they
damn it! I knew Stu was gonna start laughing.
I can see how they might be considered dangerous, but whatever. I never had any kind of issues with them. My grandparents had a set. We used to play with them all the time, and we just knew to kind of stay out of the way. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's the important key. It's just the knowledge of staying away from the
And they-
lawn darts when they land.
They had a thing on them. They weren't supposed to be for people under a certain age, but October
Who
1970,
follows those rules though?
the
Right.
U.S. Food and
No
Drug
one.
Administration requested that RB Jarts Incorporated and add labels to it. So before 1970, there was no label. So they said you got to put one on it that says for adults only, and it stayed in production till 1988.
So is that kind of like the parental advisory sticker?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I
basically
like
they're
how it was
saying
the
like,
FDA as
I need to
well.
buy that because it's got a
So-
warning on it.
what ended up happening is a couple of kids actually did die because of these. And in 1987, a little girl actually got killed when I think her brother or something threw one and it hit her from a distance. Now, I don't know. They weren't exceptionally sharp or anything, but I mean, it's weighted. And if it comes down on your head,
Yeah.
It's kind of
It
weird
was
to speak
sharp.
ill of the dead
they
like
weren't
that.
really that sharp. But if
I
it's
mean,
weighted,
I think they were intelligent enough children, though. We should probably stop saying they're not sharp.
I was like, what are you talking about, Matt? I was like, nobody's insulted the kid. I was sitting over here trying to figure out what you were talking about for like 30 seconds. I'm like, he's like, man, I'm telling you, the boy is smelling toast today. The darts weren't very sharp on the tip, not really that sharp. But if it's
The
going
children
up in the
were
air
dull.
and weighted,
Yeah.
it's probably sharp enough to do some damage when it came down. So in 1988, they totally banned the original design. Do you guys know? I mean, they're still sort of available, but you guys know what they're like now.
No.
There's
I
no
believe
tips
they have
on
like a
them.
ball or something on them.
They're weighted round ends, so they still do the same
So it
thing.
just give you a concussion now instead of
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking beanbag, just hit you in the
I'm
face.
not that dumb.
yet.
But it's not nearly as satisfying as watching that thing stick in the freaking ground. That's what was
I don't know. It might be pretty satisfying.
Or your
throwing-
little
knocking
sister's
them
head.
out.
your sister said. Listen, I never did that. You guys are way meaner to your sisters.
Yeah, I threw scissors at mine.
Yeah.
He
Sorry,
did.
Casey.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I almost paralyzed my sister one time. So
Damn, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm starting to Kevin. I'm starting to understand why they banned these. I never tried to kill myself.
Right?
You
no, for the record,
They still have scissors today.
did you?
yeah, they still have
Oh, yeah.
scissors, but
no. Look, Kevin's or Matt's talking about how satisfying it was, and Stewie's trying to kill us. Kevin, did you ever try to kill either of your siblings?
Well, there was this one time I tried to claw my brother in the face after he
What the hell?
stole a toy of mine,
Damn.
and I was like Wolverine trying to do it too. So yeah,
I wonder if the
I was
like
toy that he
5.
stole is on this list.
Did you use Jan Jart's
Yawn?
scissors? Jan Jart's.
no, I just kind of like use my like
go.
bare like fingernails to just do it.
Just do it.
It's like,
He's
just
looking
try to,
for
like
it.
do like a claw motion, you know.
Yeah. I never tried. Me and my sister would get in fights. Like we'd get in some knockdown, just like punching, and we didn't do that. We were a lot more brutal than that, but never tried to kill each other. It was never homicide. Well, she probably threatened with homicide a few times, but it never transpired. So
Childhood. Yes.
the next one on our list, I remember these vividly. You guys probably too. I remember the version. The first one, they're the exact same, but the girl version is the one everybody talks about. It's called Sky Dancers. These were from Galoob in
Yeah.
1994. And
I have
the
no
boy
idea.
version were called Dragonflies.
Mhm.
And they were
Oh,
same exact things. You put them on a base, right? And it had a ripcord, and you'd pull it, and they had like wings that would flip out, and they'd go spiraling up into the air, and they looked really cool and everything. The problem was they
Sharpen
were,
those wings, and
they were very unpredictable.
yeah.
So they would go taking off into the air, and nobody knew where they were coming back down. And there were actually multiple accounts of facial lacerations, scratched corneas, chipped teeth, and even, I don't know how, but temporary blindness, like where somebody got hit in the eye, I guess. So, a fun day playing with Sky Dancers or Dragonflies might end you in the ER.
Just got a bunch of kids looking like fucking Nick Fury now. Just like, what happened to you? Goddamn Sky Dancer took my fucking eye out. It was their nom. See, those guys, like, they're flying by their capes, right? It's like a cape that comes out.
Yeah, the
Looks
weird
like
the
it, yeah.
Dragonfly ones have weird things around their freaking neck that launches them into, but they're same toy basically, essentially.
And those seem
And,
like they are much more like unsteady. With,
Yeah,
you know,
they're
They
so
wobble from the legs, and yeah, that's definitely
More
going into your
weight.
face. Yeah.
these were made by Galoob. They ended up being recalled. They actually continued to make them, but they changed the wings to like a foam like wing, so it wouldn't
They
cost
hurt
nearly
less.
as much. Wait, the first thing you got to keep in mind is we were all young boys. Even if a toy wasn't meant to hurt, we would find ways to
Find
use
a way
it
to do it.
Definitely,
precisely
yeah.
that, So if I imagine there were a lot of boys that aimed these at their buddies when they pulled the ripcord.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh yeah, you did.
Especially us Gen Xers. I mean, we definitely did that shit.
well, yeah, and you weren't allowed to rub it.
Nope.
Oh, I rub it.
How many times did you get slugged in the shoulder and someone went, "Be a man, don't rub it."
Walk it
Like,
off.
yeah. So you weren't allowed to
Still.
act like this shit hurt. So do you
So
guys
I-
remember these things now? Stu, you said you didn't at first, but when you saw the
I remember. I never actually had one.
well, dude, it was 1994. It would have been weird if your 18-year-old ass was I bought
Yeah.
Sky Dancers today.
Hey, I mean, I just recently bought a skateboard from back when I was in.
Yeah, it's different though.
That's way different.
Me and Stu were
Now it's
I mean,
just
I'm not
display
riding
piece in
the
your house,
skateboard.
though. I was gonna say it's
19
just hanging on the wall.
Right.
me and Stu 17, 18. I'm going over to his house. We're playing with Sky Dancers.
Actual footage exists somewhere.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
These
Oh
aren't
my
By the
toys,
way-
Mom. These are action figures.
It's action figure.
They're action figures.
One of my favorite
Oh.
videos is of the girl getting one of these on Christmas. She opens it up, pulls it, and
Oh.
immediately like goes up and then
Goes
into
to
the
the fireplace.
fireplace.
Yeah.
So good.
So I want to say there were over 170 reports of consumer product safety things like filed on these. And so, like I said, they did redesign it by a company called Play Along Toys, redesigned them in 2005. And like I said, re-released them. But yeah, they took them off the market. They ran from 94 until 2000. So it was 6 years of these fucking things taking people out.
Just
wanna
a
see, like,
menace.
I want to see a movie where the villain's plot is to take somebody out with a Sky Dancer.
Small
will look-
Soldiers 2.
It will look like an
Revenge of the
action
Sky
movie.
Dancer.
I almost got taken out by a firework that was kind of like that at one time.
I could see.
Just a
So I want to get
propeller.
back to that.
Okay.
I could see a horror movie where somebody attaches blades to the Sky Dancer, like razor
Oh, yeah,
blades.
little Exacto knives.
Yeah, it's
So we
called
were-
Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. We watched it. Check out the video up there if you're watching on
we
YouTube. Yeah.
I was saying how boys would do dangerous stuff, and you said that my cousins used to play tag with Roman candles. True story.
Same.
Jeez. I think everybody did that.
We
I
used,
didn't.
we used to do a
Well, you weren't
Bottle
redneck
Rocket
enough.
truck tag.
Yeah, stuff like that. What'd you say, Matt?
Said you weren't redneck enough.
Listen,
I was.
my
apparently at
family
the time.
was. I can
Yeah.
tell
No,
you some
I-
pretty.
You remember those fireworks that you light and then they shoot up in the air and like spin, whatever?
Yeah.
So I did that one time with like the twins and everything, and it shot up, but it went instead of up, it went that way and chased after me, and like literally was underneath the car chasing me, and I'm like, what
It-
the fuck? I'm gonna
Stuart, it wasn't sentient.
it. I,
It's like it knew where I was.
I felt like it was. I almost died that
Stu
day.
bought sentient fireworks, like they're programmed to kill. All right, let's get to our next toy.
Fireworks by Skynet.
There was a toy that came out in the 80s that was so extremely popular that everybody wanted one. I think a few of us on the show have said we had them, and they started to decline in sales. So they tried to figure out other ways to make this doll popular again. Do you know what the doll was? You had one. I had one.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Matt, did you have a Cabbage Patch Kid?
I had a homemade one.
You are way more redneck than I thought.
So
It
my-
was literally a head of cabbage on.
just like go play with this.
Well, he is
No, my
sometimes.
mom actually used to work at a company that made
Cops or something.
I think knockoff Cabbage Patch Kids and pound. I have a homemade pound puppy. I actually still have it. Homemade pound puppy.
They're called pound doggies and
Yeah.
Hound dog.
Radish head babies.
Rescue dogs.
radish head
Ain't nothing
babies.
like a pound dog.
Radish head babies.
It's like, oh, you guys had a doll. I had to play with an actual vegetable.
Hey,
Well-
we should make that radish babies.
Radish babies. So the Cabbage Patch Kids came out in the 80s, but in 1996, Mattel released the Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid. If you have a fear of dolls, you're not going to like this thing at all. So like I said, Mattel at this point had passed the Cabbage Patch Kid torch, and they wanted to update the line. So they tried a swimming Cabbage Patch doll. If you guys remember, his little feet would kick. You probably saw commercials. There was one, I guess you could like cut its hair, whatever. But Mattel wanted a doll that could eat, chew, and swallow. So don't be gross, Stu. Not that kind of swallow. Trust me, you don't want to do that. The Cabbage
Yeah.
Patch.
That's gonna
had a
put you on a
battery.
list.
Oh God, guys, you
Think he's not
help
already
me
on one?
control Stu because this is gonna get way worse.
Uh huh.
it had a battery-powered mechanized jaw that would would chew. It was creepy looking just to
Yeah.
watch it. Think like a lizard sucking down a frog or something. It was very bizarre. And it came with like fake food, like little fake French fries and shit, and you could feed it that. But the part is there was no way for you to stop the mechanism. So,
It was
things like
uncontrollable.
cords on hoodies or kids' hair. It didn't know what it was
Fingers.
fighting and chewing on, so it didn't really matter. Here's
Other
kinda curious
finger-shaped
what,
things.
what was the
Stu.
mechanism inside that was pulling it in?
I don't know, but what we do know is it was technically strong enough to
Fucking
do a little damage.
Gears.
Yeah. So now, in full disclosure, and
God,
this is
it's
true,
creepy as hell.
Mattel, we're going to say this in full disclosure. They found no serious safety hazard that ever actually happened, and no one died. It never ate anyone. But
They turned it
Mattel
into a
did
garbage pail
decide
kid.
that in lieu of, I mean, I know some kids got their hair caught in it and stuff like that. Stu was asking if stompers ever got banned, and I'm like, no, because you weren't supposed to put stompers in your sister's hair. We just did it.
And I
What are
know
stompers?
a high school friend of ours.
Stompers were these little, they were awesome. These little trucks,
Put a picture up there.
and they had they were little, like a matchbox size, but they had foam tires, and they could climb up shit. And they were motorized, so they would
Okay.
like literally
They kept going.
yeah.
I've
And the
probably
problem
seen
is,
these things.
if
It's
they
not
get
ringing a
close to
bell.
hair, that hair was going to get caught up in those wheels.
Yep.
And then you had
Okay.
to stomp glued to your
And
head.
we had a high
Remember
school
those.
Now I
friend,
remember those.
Jenny, that happened to.
I remember it happened to my sister. We did luckily get
Sorry,
it out.
Jenny.
We didn't have to cut her hair, but a lot of times it would get so wound up. But that's because what would happen is the kid would be playing with it, and go right on top of their head. Yeah.
Right, because that was a great idea.
So I think there was kind of the same thing with the Cabbage Patch Kids. They would just, probably put their head too close or something and be like, "Nyang, nyang," and just start eating fucking hair. And then the kid starts screaming, thinking she's being attacked by her Cabbage Patch doll, which I imagine there's some trauma out there.
And then
Or
Child's Play
that
comes
make-
out and just really makes it worse.
That or the developers for the Fleshlight found out and developed their own.
You have problems.
You don't
Yeah.
have to bring up fleshlights every episode.
It's every other. Yeah. The Dune bucket.
Dude, I saw that in over at when we went to the theater.
Like
for
in
that.
person live.
Yeah, when we.
So how many of those did you get, Stu?
Yeah, he's just like holding up money. He's like, "How much
He's
for
like,
the bucket?"
He's like, I was
One
gonna
for
buy it,
each
and
day of the
realized-
week.
He's like, I was gonna buy it and I realized it was way too big for my dick.
Yep.
It wasn't gonna fit. What's the point?
Yeah.
We need to go see that movie. Anyway, Mattel finally decided it'd be best to just offer a $40 refund and do a voluntary recall. That was in 1997. These are still out there. You can still get them. They're still out there waiting and eating.
Watching you from the shelves, like baby
they're on
laugh a lot.
eBay. They're one of those where they're kind of considered like collector's items at this point. They cost a lot more, especially if you can get them in box, and people will sell them. So, next we have one of the most famous ladies in history, who never really missed a trend, even a trend that might kill the children.
Martha Stewart.
Yes, the Martha Stewart
Yeah.
doll. No,
There might be one of those somewhere.
I mean,
Oh my
maybe
God.
maybe
like
I'm
a
being
Barbie version of Martha Stewart
Why isn't there? There totally should be. There needs to
I
be
don't
a Dolly Parton as well.
with like a
Hell
Ken
yeah.
Snoop
Dude,
Dogg.
get all boob and a stick.
Stick with boobs. I might be being a little dramatic with the fact that they killed all the kids, but nothing ever really happened with these. But they still existed, and they don't seem like the best idea, because in 1991, Mattel had to pull their rollerblading Barbie from the stores because parents started to freak out. Rightly
I don't
so.
know why.
I think they managed to stop this before something bad happened, because
The sparks.
we're talking about a doll with rollerblades that you roll across surfaces that kick sparks out of the freaking heels. They thought that would be a good idea. Do you remember how we used to have the spark guns? How many of us had spark guns as a kid? You pull it and shoot little sparks out the front.
Mm-hmm.
Same premise, only those would go, half an inch out of the fucking gun, and we're pointing it at the air. These were rolling across surfaces, you know, tablecloths,
Beds.
carpet, beds.
Gas stations, oil rigs.
What are you doing at a gas station?
Nothing.
Getting
Just have
gas.
fun.
those fuses that go to those Acme barrels of gunpowder like Wile E. Coyote
Yeah.
has.
dynamite storage.
I started thinking about this.
Nitroglycerin.
Going through this list and thinking about what made me think of spark guns, and when we were real little kids, toys were way more dangerous. Like now you can get like plastic clackers, but they used to be like on a fucking string and
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty
Throw them
you
at your
went like
friend's
this and-
ankles and
Yeah, I was gonna say you can take some motherfuckers down with those things.
Concussions were a thing.
What, like, they didn't really have as many safety measures when we were kids. It was just like, hey, here's a cool toy. And we're like,
Right.
yay! And I wanted one. And it didn't matter if it was gonna take somebody out or not. I still wanted the toy.
Well, Jay, there was this. There's a toy, or I guess a kit that I was about to mention that was invented in the 50s
It's
that
on here.
involves. Oh, you got it. Okay, never mind.
I think it's the
Yeah,
next
get
one,
ready to
actually.
get ready
Yeah.
to talk about that, because that's
All right.
insanity right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I'll let you when we
All
get to
right.
it. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I
Mhm.
know exactly what you're gonna bring up. I can think of like I said, lots of toys that kicked up sparks. I think there were like little Godzilla toys that might have
Yep.
kicked sparks.
Wasn't
Yeah.
there Hot Wheels that
They
did
shot
that?
they shot out of the mouth of the Godzilla. That's what they
Yeah,
did.
and I think there were probably I don't know if it was Hot Wheels, but there were probably cars that kicked up sparks too.
Those they
I
had the pull thing on them, and it
We had
shot like the
ripcord.
gears going. Yeah,
we had
ripcord, I get it.
zero issue with toys that launched shit like missiles or Godzilla had a
the-
fist.
Boba Fett, the original
So,
Boba Fett action figure.
Yeah, the one that you can't get, the one they changed the design on because it was considered a choking. They changed the J hook mechanism on the back of his back. Yeah, and if you can find one of those, they're
Good
like
luck.
10 grand. Yeah, because there are only prototypes out there that exist. I think only if you ever made it to market.
Yep.
But it's weird. We didn't really have any problem with like said toys that might maim you. It was fine. So what you were just talking about, Kev, let's go into that. What were you about to refer to? Because I have a feeling it's the exact same thing that we have.
Well, after World War II and like towards like the early 1950s, they the good folks at the toy companies of the era decided to come up with a scientific lab kit that involves radioactive material.
Yep. The Atomic Energy
1950,
Lab.
to be
Mhm.
exact, the Gilbert U-230 atomic. Yes.
Got
Oh.
isotopes and shit.
Hey kids,
What point was
want
this?
cancer?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, their follow-up kit was
My first radiation clinic.
skin burn.
Right.
And, yeah. So maybe you guys haven't heard of him. His name was Alfred Carlton Gilbert. He was an athlete, a magician, a toy maker, a businessman, and an inventor. He was also the guy who gave
A
the world
Renaissance
the
man.
erector set. So erector sets came from
Makes
the same
sense.
guy. Yeah. He was trying to release kind of before STEM was a thing, STEM toys into the world. Like he really wanted to like
He meant
introduce
well.
kids to science.
Yeah, his heart was in the right place.
Yeah. Like you said, this actually came out in 1950, Kev, like right at 1950. Looks really cool, to be fair.
It
Uh,
does.
There was, like you said, there was one small problem. There's a warning label on this thing. And yeah, so users, I'll read you what it says. Users should not take ore samples out of their jars, for they tend to flake and crumble, and you would run the risk of having radioactive ore spread out in your laboratory.
One question. Why would you make it so you could open the jar?
Where the hell are you getting radioactive ore? It's,
And why are you selling it to children?
it's the 50s. They just dumped it in like back alleys and stuff,
Oh
I
my
guess.
God.
This guy just really hated kids.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actual radioactive material was included. Why not just crack open a few thermometers, push around a little mercury wire?
There's
Which
probably
might
some
be-
in that.
That's
actually.
coming out next year.
Yeah.
So what the kit included, it had 4 small jars of actual uranium, so you could measure the sample's radioactivity, observe radioactive
Wait,
decay.
actual?
Yes,
Yeah, actual uranium.
you could observe.
Now Stu gets it.
radioactive-
Now you see why it's a problem.
Yeah.
He's like,
Uh,
oh no.
you could go prospecting for radioactive ores. It also included a comic book called "Learn How Dagwood Splits the Atom" to help explain atomic
Wait.
energy. So of course it was safe for the whole family. Yes,
Like Dagwood
Dagwood
from
and Blondie. Yeah.
Blondie. Okay.
But it was called "Learn How Dagwood Splits the Atom." Like
I just thought he was a fan of sandwiches, not
Right.
uranium.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute.
But
sandwich?
understand something. Kevin brought up a good point. This is after World War II. We've already dropped.
Hey
2
guys, you remember how we fucked the Japanese over for like decades?
We're gonna teach
Now
you.
you can do that to your children.
Oh my God.
Baby's first atomic bomb. God.
I mean, that's to me just insanity. So at this point, they knew that it could be dangerous. I think it was one of those, well, how much? Just a little bit shouldn't hurt the kids. Like,
Yeah.
meanwhile,
doses, you'll
Timmy
be all
blows
right.
up his house and half the neighborhood because he figures out how to split an atom. Mom, look
He
what I
learned from Dagwood.
So
Well,
this is why they were called boomers. Okay, gotcha.
I've never seen.
Uh,
That nuts. So I've never seen the comic book, but I bet you there's a sandwich in it somewhere.
I
But it
would
came
hope
with it.
so. It
But
starts
honestly,
glowing
yeah.
by the end of it.
If you see
Right.
pictures of the kit, if you're watching the video or whatever, if not, just go out and Google it. It looks cool. Like I said, this is the same guy who designed the erector set, and I think, like you guys said, he was just trying to do the right thing. He was
Yeah.
just-
He's like, I
gonna
want
order
to teach
DoorDash
kids
right
about
now.
science. Yeah.
So, why you want to eat some uranium?
No sandwich.
I want to see. It's like you guys said, Dagwood, and I want a sandwich. Damn it! I know I'm kind of it made me hungry too. The next one on the list, I have this weird feeling. I'm gonna make a call here that Matt played with the next one on this list. Now, maybe not, but knowing some of the things I know about him over the years and the things he gets into,
Barbie.
I could see Barbie. I could see him playing with this next one. 2007 Aqua Dots. No, you didn't play. They just seem like something you would have been into.
It,
They were
it does seem like something I would be into, but no, 2007 I was dating.
man,
So
when you
no, I
made-
didn't have
you
time
were-
for Aqua Dots.
When you were playing with the little bead things, you were married. So I don't want to hear that.
True, yeah, that's
You
true.
have toys on the shelf behind you right now.
Yeah. Those, sir, are vinyl figures and Legos. Okay, so
Legos.
still.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, my little figure of Guile from Street Fighter is a posable action figure.
I got 3D printed Darth Vader over here. You know,
So Aqua Dots were basically
Children.
this
I swear.
little machine with these little beads in them that when you put like water in it, they'd get wet and they would connect to one another, and then when they dried, you could draw basically 3D stuff with it, and it was kind of cool, right?
early 3D printing for children. Yeah. Makes
The
sense.
problem was that the coating on top of the Aqua Dots had GHB in it, so it would release GHB. That would be the date rape drug for those of you who
Are
don't know. And-
Wait, are you?
Yeah.
You're serious about this? I thought you were making a
Yes.
really fucked
Nope.
up joke.
Nope, this is true. And kids
What
are
the
kids,
hell?
so it's not uncommon that a kid would eat or ingest one of these little dots for whatever reason. And basically, kids were getting taken to the emergency room, and their parents were trying to figure out why they were acting like lethargic and whatever. And I guess 3 children ended up going into a coma after swallowing some of these pieces.
Oh,
At
geez.
that point, the CPS.
Don't call that number on the screen right now. By the way, guys, that
No.
you don't want.
I don't think
you
you
don't
can
want
put
that.
It's probably not any good.
The CPSC, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, recalled like
Holy
4.2
shit.
million kits after this.
Oh, but they glowed in the dark though. That was cool.
like you wonder what's going
You can
through their
see
head. Like,
you can see that glowing in the dark when you come out of your fucking GHB stupor. My God,
well,
I didn't know it was. Oh my
well,
God!
so
I
did the
genuinely
lab
thought you
kit.
were
I mean, you
kidding.
get to learn something with the other one.
they glowed in the dark too, and sometimes you did afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, That is
But the
horrible.
thing is like, they had to know. And so they're sitting there going, how much can we get away with? Like, how much EPH can we put on these damn things?
Why would they it had to have been an active ingredient and what caused it to stick together, but I don't
Obviously,
know.
right?
There's adhesives that exist that
You'd
would
think
work
there's got to be a
better.
better way. And they might have, I want
Whoa.
to say, and I didn't look into this, but they might have released a different version afterwards because I feel like Aqua Dots are still around, but I could be mistaken about that. But
There is something else that does exist where you spray water on it and they stick together, but
this is important too.
oh my
This
god.
is not 1987 or even 97 before we knew what GHB did and what this is 2007.
Yeah.
This isn't that long ago.
They're fully aware of what it does at that point in
Yeah.
time.
But it's just
And they put it on a
long-
toy for kids.
it's a long history of how much can we get away with. We're not
Mm.
done yet. We've got another one from 2007 we're going to talk about here in a minute. Very similar kind of stuff. What the fuck? But before we do that, I want to bring up one everybody knows. Actually, the next two on the list are from 2007, but everybody knows this next one. And what's really crazy is it was around probably the 50s, maybe even the 40s, but it went all the way till 2007 before complaints started getting lodged and they finally changed it. That's the Hasbro Easy Bake Oven. This thing, if you guys don't know,
The oven that never cooked anything.
well, it did originally because it was a freaking light bulb that got so freaking hot that
Burn
like
your
it
damn
would
house
it can
down.
melt. It was known to melt plastic and everything else, and if you touch that bulb, it would burn the shit out of you.
Yeah, a bulb that was known to melt plastic that was inside of a plastic oven.
You're right.
Nothing unsafe about that.
So
Jeez.
what started happening is, I guess over the years they'd gotten complaints, and then in 2007, they got a couple of complaints, and they finally decided we've got to do something about this. A little girl actually ended up having to have a part. This is so sad to say, a part of her finger amputated after touching the damn thing and burning.
Oh, damn.
So it's still out there. It's just a new version with it has a heating element instead of a light bulb in it now.
Now it's just fire.
Fire. The new Easy Bake Oven is a lighter.
It's a
It's
tiny
just two sticks
it's a lighter.
and a lighter.
It says Easy Bake on it. It's-
Comes with somebody who's just like Kevin said, just rubbing two sticks together until it just ignites.
the new Easy Bake Oven. You just go out and they hand you a Lunchable that says Easy Bake on it. So here you go. You've made lunch. You're good.
I wonder if you take
Ooh,
one of
I wonder how
those
many
and use
people
a lighter and kind of.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. I want to hear
Say
what
how many
Matt
people-
say.
I wonder how many people put the little pizza Lunchables inside of an easy bake
Okay.
oven to actually heat that
Did you
up.
guys?
Ooh, that's
listen,
a good
man, if you
idea.
guys
I
didn't
want to do
cool-
that now.
Right?
If you didn't, cool, and if you did, you can make fun of me. I don't give a shit. Did you know you were supposed to heat those pizzas up?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Why would
Does it
what
say
child
heat?
has the ability to do that at school?
You don't have
Right.
to.
no,
But
you don't have
yes,
to,
it
but
does say on it. And the kids, my kids, because I get them for them all the time, and they're the ones who were like, "Hey, yeah, you're supposed to heat them up, but we never do." I'm like, "You are?" And then they told me you're supposed to put Pop Tarts in. Oh,
dude, Pop Tarts
you
in the
just eat those
microwave
right
with
out
some
of the
butter
foil.
and sugar on top of them. And yes, I know how fat that makes me sound. I don't care. It's delicious.
no, you got to say it like this. Take a Pop Tart,
Pop Tarts and
butter.
heat
Wait,
up
you
in the
add
microwave.
sugar to the Pop Tart that already has sugar frosting.
Get the strawberry frosted Pop Tarts,
And
spread
I'm
some
the one-
butter on it, and then
Yes,
sprinkle
who's the
some
one that
sugar
was-
on top
and
of
I'm
it.
the one with
Stu's
diabetes.
the one with heart trouble and diabetes.
You
Yeah.
slather it with maple syrup. Then
don't
you
know,
take
yeah.
some bacon fat.
Matt, you have
I
check
fully
right
subscribe to
because
the
you eat a
ELF
lot.
diet. So
The elf
there's
diet.
4
Oh,
food groups and they're all
God.
sugar.
Matt,
For the
like,
record, my father also has,
Matt says, yeah, I take that
less
thing with
legs than
sugar.
he had.
It's like I take my cake, like I take slices of cake and I put sugar on top of that too.
Actually, I
sure
batter
it
dip
tastes
them and
great.
fry them.
You are redneck. I batter dip it and fry my cake.
It's like a
in the
state
middle of
fair
fair
batter.
cuisine
Ooh,
over
I
at
wonder
Matt's
if that
house.
tastes good.
Oh, I'm sure it tastes fantastic.
That actually probably
yeah.
sounds awesome. I'm making that up, by the way. I've
I know
never
you
batter
are.
dipped a cake, but
It's like I do it.
now
like
I'm curious to.
I
I mean,
eat my apple
you've
pie
been
like
to
a real
state
American.
fairs.
Well,
Mm,
they
yeah,
they batter
everything.
dip cupcakes. I think.
Everything is good dipped and fried, man. I've had.
Yeah.
But you eat I eat my apple pie like a real American, batter dipped and fried.
On a stick
Are we
with
the
powdered sugar
while
on
Leonard
top.
Skinner tribute band plays in the background.
I don't know, but I'm taking a bet. Do you think America is the fattest country in the world?
Yes.
We're actually
Absolutely.
not.
Bet it
I don't
is.
think it's the fattest.
I
but
Not
I think
anymore.
it's up there.
Wait,
Who
I actually
Kevin?
saw. I actually
May-
saw something.
the Italians?
N-
They eat a lot of pasta.
They do, and they eat a lot of it throughout the day. But I think it's like some European country that actually outweighs us in the whole.
Fuck
fat
them. We can beat them.
yeah. Challenge accepted, motherfucker. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Except let's-
America.
well, Matt's already started it. Deep fried cake.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna get there with syrup on top, and apparently sugar and butter as well. Oh god, I
The
love it
Pop Tart
so
thing was
much.
very real. I actually have done that many times.
I
Batter
wanna-
dipping cakes, though.
Listen,
that
I'm not gonna
that
lie
just
to
sounds like
you.
something fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you sounded like
It
a
sounds
fat
fucking.
ass.
But it sounds fucking
sounds
delicious.
like
But how much of a fat ass do I sound like? Because I really
Like,
want to try
I want
it.
to do that.
It sounds like I should take a Pop Tart and just dip it in the marshmallow fluff.
I would do that too.
Ooh.
Wait, which flavor
Ooh.
Pop Tart? works
S'mores
the
Pop
best?
Tarts with marshmallow fluff. Two Pop Tarts, marshmallow fluff between the two.
Yeah.
of them, heat it up over a campfire. Copyright. Jay, put the recipe on the website.
Welcome everyone
Or-
to the Health Cast.
Or a spoon with peanut butter and dip it into chocolate chips.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
amateur.
Like given.
peanut butter cups. yeah.
Amateur.
I'm gonna get us back on topic, I promise, but I have to ask one question first, Matt. What flavor?
we put the
Pop-Tart
pastry
works the
crack?
best? What?
I always did strawberry. That's the one that I always did.
I just needed to know. I mean, just because I was.
They don't make
curious.
a black cherry version.
I just
so.
needed to know, man. Just for no reason. I was just
You
curious.
take two trays of pastry crack, and then you put like a thin layer of like
Listen,
Nutella.
Pop Tarts.
Yeah.
pastry crack.
Pastry crack, Nutella, more pastry crack.
Mm-hmm. Make a pastry crack
for those of you who don't
lasagna.
know, is a thing that the folks on this show have just grown to love over the years. It's a
Oh, we need to
people
get
call
that
them
ma-
something like cream cheese bars, but that's a dumb one.
Hey,
They're
when
pastry crack, and there is a recipe on our website.
when
Mhm.
Horror Hunt comes around, we need to remake that.
We could talk about that. There is a recipe on our website on the front page. If you know where to look, and it just says pastry crack, and you click on that, and it'll give you the recipe to how to make pastry crack. So, all right. So the next thing we're going to talk about, guys, once again, 2007, and you'd think they'd know better. We talked about GHB and the Aquadots in 2007. Well, another thing that came out in 2007 was the CSI fingerprint examination kit. Now, first of all, it's weird that they would market anything from a TV show that was
Why
not
doesn't it?
for children.
Why doesn't it come with sunglasses you can whip off while fucking the Who starts playing?
But it's weird, right? Because we're talking about a show that is not marketed towards children at all. It is not intended for children. We've talked in the past about this weird thing that happened in the 80s. It actually happened in the 90s, but the 90s took R-rated 80s movies and tried to turn them into kids shows.
Mhm.
We've talked about the Toxic Crusader. We talked
RoboCop,
we talked to
Rambo.
Lloyd Kaufman about the Toxic Crusader being turned, and he's like, I'm into it. They called me and said, "Can I do it?" And I'm like, "Sure." Yes, Rambo, Police Academy,
Mhm.
RoboCop. So these were
Yeah,
bloody.
the Rambo knife.
These were bloody. Everybody, I loved that.
I had one of those. Yep.
These were bloody.
Never saw Rambo. Still haven't seen Rambo actually.
Watch
Really?
First Blood, but you don't need
Yeah,
to watch
First
it.
I own
You
all
you
of the
need to
Rambo
watch it, but-
movies. I have not watched a single one.
First Blood is great, but the rest are
Yeah.
just need to watch Rambo.
okay. The one called Rambo, it gets very confusing with the titling. It's not bad.
There's like two of them that
A
are
lot of
Rambo.
blood.
So the second one is called Rambo First Blood Part 2. The second
Which
one is
would be
called
Second
Rambo
Blood.
3, which makes zero sense because the first one wasn't called Rambo. So why they called the third one? It's like the Fast and Furious movies. They just gave up at some point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or
It's like
Friday
in a
the
lot of
13th,
ways.
Jason takes Manhattan, but he didn't. He's on a boat the whole time. Just whatever.
He's in Manhattan for like 5 minutes.
Wasn't he in the sewers?
Yeah, the toxic, where they run all the toxic dump through whatever.
Yeah, every night at midnight. Yeah.
Toxic waste flows through the sewers in New York. We all know that. It's legit.
Yeah.
So the CSI finger, like I said, this is not. I watched CSI. I don't know why they were thinking this, but they did. So here's the thing, Kevin, because you were talking about the aquadots and all that, and how weird that was, and we were talking about the atomic lab kit having uranium.
Mhm.
The CSI fingerprint examination kit, well, it had 7% asbestos in the powder that you used.
Oh my god!
A little bit of asbestos never killed nobody. Come on.
Yeah.
This is 2007. Guys, at this point, they've already gone through old buildings and schools and taken the asbestos out. Like, this is not like something that we should have been shocked by.
Who the hell are these developers?
Same people who put lead paint and everything.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's 7%. This is actually believed to be enough to cause late in life lung cancer. This is not
God.
if for prolonged exposure. It can, so this isn't like it's not enough. They knew it was enough. So you kind of wonder, like, and this
What the hell were they
2007.
thinking?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
2007. They should know better.
But what I'm saying is, we don't know if kids who played with this kit, like, it could cause late in life.
It's
some of these
yeah,
kids
it's
could
still
know.
too early for them to know if they have or will get cancer.
The fortunate and unfortunate ending to this is the company itself went bankrupt and out of business. So even if that ends up being the case,
So if one of
Nobody-
these kids,
nobody can
is,
sue 'em.
like in their 90s, find out they get lung cancer and haven't
Not a
smoked a
lot.
day in their life, they can't sue anybody.
can track it back and say, I remember when my mom bought me that CSI. And it comes, listen, the kit comes with crime scene tape. It is really disturbing. The kids are supposed to play with this. You know, I mean, like, all right.
I just
all
hope
right,
kids
Bobby.
like decorated their bedroom door with the crime scene tape and just like left it
Okay,
there.
Matt, you lay down on the floor. I'll draw the
Draw a
chalk
chalk outline around you.
So
Now-
weird.
Now, Dad, you carry this box while they try to interrogate you about a crime.
Yeah. Put a large dot on his head and some crack and just kind of like leave it.
Why is Mickey?
Yeah, right. I try to do a kid's voice,
You tried to do a kid's voice.
but it just went all high octave and just like, hey, Stu,
Yeah.
ha!
Yeah.
Wanna play
He
some
did
hot
he did
dogs?"
Steamboat Willie's
That's a-
voice because that's in the public domain. We'll be all right.
Ah,
So,
thank
yeah,
you.
it wasn't Mickey Mouse. It was Steamboat.
No,
Oh, yeah,
Public
Steamboat
domain.
Willie,
We're
yes.
allowed to do
Yeah.
that now.
He doesn't have gloves on and he's in black and white.
So I really only have one more on my list, and then I want to open it up. Just to, maybe not even ones that were banned, but ones that you guys remember that were dangerous or that you think should have been banned. But the last toy that I know got recalled that I have on the list was 1998. And I actually had a clip, but for some reason it wouldn't play. So I'm sorry, guys. You can go look it up and listen to it if you want. But in the late 90s, this huge fad hit, and I had kids later. So I got lucky. I was old enough to just think it was fucking weird. And my kids didn't come along for a few more years. So I didn't have to put up with the Teletubbies a whole lot. But the Teletubbies were bizarre. Okay.
Mhm.
They were really weird toys. And it was a really weird show. I will say, unfortunately, my son did get into a show called Boo Bah, and
Oh, God,
it was
that's
like
worse.
Teletubbies on acid. So it was really bizarre. But
So no better.
well, it was in that the Boo Bahs didn't talk at all. The
Made these weird
Teletubbies
noises,
did.
though, didn't
The
it?
Teletubbies made they kind of talk gibberish, and it didn't make sense. So a toy came out in the late 90s that, well, dolls of all of them, but one of them was the Poe, which what were their names, like Tinky Winky and Poe and Lala, and there was another one.
Dipsy, Tinky Winky, Lala, and Poe.
Yeah, that was it. So apparently
Why
the
did I
Poe
know that off
toy,
the top of my head? by the way?
because they were everywhere, man.
Because you liked
True.
them.
They were everywhere, and it was insane. Kids like latched on. They were these, if you don't know, they were these weird looking little creatures. Not little, actually. They were giant. They were like 7 foot
Those were
tall.
the 90s Monchichis.
Yes, but they were creepy
Mhm.
looking faces, and they had
Yeah.
TV screens on their bellies, aka Teletubby, and they would show shows on their belly, and the son had a baby's face. It was bizarre.
Mhm.
Well, the Poe toy, the Poe doll that came out, that was the one that didn't have a lot of money. I know that was a really, that was a
Did you-
bad
did you
joke.
script
Oh,
that?
it wasn't-
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as Stu's. No, I didn't script that. So shut
Good.
up, Matt. It
I'm
was off
glad.
the top of the dome.
I
No,
could be forgiven then.
I didn't write it down.
I kind of want a po' boy sandwich now.
So when you damn it, Stu, in this show makes Stu want a sandwich. So when you press their stomachs, they would talk their gibberish. And apparently, when you press the Poe stomach, well, I combined the word stomach and Poe, and I had the stow. I went to the stow to get a Po' boy sandwich. When you pressed Poe's stomach, one of the things he would say sounded a lot like he was going, "Bite my butt, bite my butt," and parents didn't like their kids walking around saying "bite my butt," which I think is funny, and I would have laughed at my kid, but I guess a lot of parents didn't like it, and so they pulled these and I think just released different versions. So not nearly as bad or dangerous as some of the other stuff we talked about, but I thought this one was amusing. So honestly, out of all the things we talked about, a few of them really didn't cause any damage. Like the rollerblading Barbie never officially did anything, which is probably a good thing. Like it's really, it probably would have at some point.
What was set them off to figure out that, that's going to burn things?
I think parents just started questioning it, like,
Hey, sparks usually start fires.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't have
Sparks
them
on
coming out
too.
of our kids' toys.
With my young child's
carpet.
hand just,
But yet
just
we give
so
kids
close to the spark
sparklers
coming
holding the hands.
out of
But
Barbie's feet.
sparklers aren't really made for children, though. That's the thing. This is
No,
directly
but we
marketed.
give them to our children. Like, here, play with this.
But that's up to you. Like this is marketed and directed towards kids for kids to buy.
Yeah.
If you're handing your kid technically something that's made for adults, then you know
That's on you.
Yeah.
Also, and
Same with drinking.
And yeah, in all hopes,
Here's the whiskey, George.
in all hopes, you would monitor your child if you gave them a sparkler or two, and you might not be watching your kid if they're playing with their Barbies.
Also, Stu, to be fair, any child named George, you're just born with whiskey in your hand as it is.
Yeah.
That was Kevin's
Like-
dad's name.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
First
It's my
Kevin is the
dad
one
with
who-
a whiskey and a 6-pack, and he was ready to go off to school.
In all fairness, Kevin is the guy who brought an ass pocket full of whiskey to the show.
And came around.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to explain that to the people who don't know what I'm talking about. They're like, he brought a what to the show?
An ass
Go-
pocket of whiskey.
Go back and listen.
It was very
So-
convenient.
Do you guys, is there any toys you guys remember thinking like, God, that just seems dangerous, or like,
Well, I
No.
thought the Stompers.
yeah,
That-
you
I-
did bring up Stompers the other day, and I mean,
Rocks.
They rocks. I did.
Ooh, rock lords. Those things look like rocks, and you could like throw it at kids.
You can
Rock
throw
lords?
anything at a kid. Yeah, rock lords. No, we should do an episode about dumb toys because that's a dumb toy.
It is.
Rock lords were transformers that transformed into rocks.
I will say,
Oh yeah. Okay, I think
Really
I've seen
dumb.
these.
What do you do with
Yeah.
them once they're a rock?
Put it in your
I
rock
mean, you
collection and
just
go. Guess
roll
what?
it.
There's a reason that cartoon.
This one's
didn't hit
quartz, but this one turns into a robot.
Right.
Like, I've got
Mm,
you. I've got you, bad rock guy. I'm gonna get you. Like, what do you do then? There's nothing. Like in the other one, they transformed into robots and tanks and planes, and like there was a building or two, which was
Guns.
weird. Yeah.
Oh,
I-
I might be
Frank?
thinking the GoBot that turns into a gun.
Oh, I had that. The
I
one
had that
was
one
like
too.
a,
There
It was
were
a cap
two.
gun?
There was
yeah, it was like a
Me-
pop
there was no
gun. Yeah.
GoPots that turned in
Megatron was a gun.
Yeah, there was.
and so was
Soundwave.
Shockwave.
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 And he was cool, man. He was like a
He
laser
was.
gun. He was purple, and you
It
could,
lit up.
yeah, it was really cool. But
I know this is not a
no,
toy.
what go? No, we're never gonna remember this. What GoBot was a gun? I don't remember.
I
what
forgot the
I feel
name
like
of
there
it. It
was
was
a
like
GoBot. Yeah.
yeah, it was a GoBot. It was like a tall GoBot, but you could like transform it into a freaking rifle.
Oh shit.
GoBots were
Yeah.
weird because they had names like Transformers. We had Optimus Prime, Megatron. GoBots we had Psykill, and Leader
Yeah.
One was the good guy. Like literally,
Not a whole lot of
I
imagination. with
found
those
the
GoBots.
exact GoBot that I had. It was Rogun.
That's it.
Rogun.
The
I
Rogun
don't
Yeah.
cap
remember that.
pistol.
I actually
Mhm.
had quite a few GoBots, but I don't remember
I'm gonna
Rogun. at
save
all.
this image so I can put it in the
So-
episode.
We did have those. Do you remember the cap balls? They were like little red balls with caps on them, and you could like smack them together, and they,
Yep.
you know.
Or the
had
ones
caps.
that looked like a little missile. You had to
Yes,
put the little, like,
they
strip
were,
with the
and
caps
those were
on it.
hard metal, man.
Yeah.
They were
Those,
like
like,
they were
micro
hard metal
lawn
with
darts.
round, and you would put caps in them, like he said, and like throw them. When they hit, they would snap. Again, you're throwing chunks of metal across. Those were
Mm.
toys.
Yeah.
I know that the one I'm about to talk about is not a toy per se, but it was pretty dangerous. It was the pedals on bikes.
I mean, yes.
I mean, I got
Oh,
scars.
those metal,
yeah.
yeah.
in all
Dude,
fairness, though,
We
you
all
said
have
that.
kick out a
scars on our
shin.
shins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You saying that reminds me of Skippets.
Oh,
Oh,
And
yeah.
people, those things
Oh.
could take a shin out, buddy.
yeah.
We played with some dangerous. I mean, you consider. Is there a school anywhere now that has a freaking tetherball court out in it?
Or
Because
Oh God.
how many of us got hurt or
Got
maimed
it
by
wrapped around their
tetherball?
neck.
is it
Mhm.
merry-go-round or whatever those things are? The
Michael
merry-go-round.
Hutchins yourself on the school courtyard.
spin wheel.
So most playgrounds have taken teeter totters out. It's hard to find a teeter totter and those merry-go-rounds.
Or anything metal.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, all the metal shit would get like 300 degrees.
Oh, I
You
love,
would-
Right.
love the slides.
You'd slide
Yeah,
down the
just
slide, need to
Peel the skin off of
graft.
your ass.
You'd get to the top of the slide, get to the bottom, and be looking like Hellraiser.
We have such sights to show you. Go
And I
to
don't,
the
I don't care
playground.
who you are. You can hear that sound now.
Going down the slide.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm not gonna lie. When you said the slide, that's what popped into my head was the noise of you sliding
Oh,
down the slide.
dude, side note. I saw a TikTok the other day where they were talking about those little carts you sat on in gym class that
Mhm.
God,
had
I
the
love
little
those.
the holes in them, and like you roll around and play kickball or whatever on there.
We didn't have holes in ours, but yeah.
Weren't
So
they, like,
apparently the ones that had
roller ones?
holes, everybody treated them like handles. They were actually finger guards. So you're supposed to put your fingers through them, not around them.
Oh.
And it was in case you like went up against the wall, you wouldn't break your fingers.
Talking about the little squares that had wheels on them, and we'd sit on
Yeah.
them and play.
Oh, so you weren't supposed to put your hands on the outside of
No,
them?
I know lots of
You're
people
supposed to
that
put your
got
hands
their
on the
fingers
inside.
rolled over in those.
Oh, dude,
It's-
I did it. Like tip of
isn't
my
it-
finger. Hurt
Isn't
like
it
a motherfucker.
bizarre? I want to ask you guys something, and I because I think about this a lot now that I'm in my 40s versus how I was when I was in my teens or even earlier. We used to ride. Okay, for our younger audience, everybody on this show except for Matt, I think, are Gen X, and you're late millennial.
Yeah.
You're one of those millennials. We kind of
Zennials.
you're almost like a Gen
Yeah,
Xer. You still experience
Yeah.
the same stuff.
Mhm. We're
was
pretty much
we're not
Zennials
saying-
here.
We're not saying this to like we're Gen X, but you guys don't understand, man. We are the reason why they put rules on you guys because we didn't have those rules. So
Yeah.
no one,
Like,
and I
well,
mean
enough of these Gen X kids got hurt. Yeah,
no
millennials.
one,
Guess what?
no one. If you did, we made fun of you. You didn't wear a helmet on your bike. In fact,
Oh yeah.
God,
we were
no.
watching the early X gamers. Like we're watching Tony Hawk and them when they weren't wearing pads and hats. They or
Mhm.
hats. They were
Alright.
hats, but
Fun,
helmets.
fun little example. Raise your hand on the show if you've had a head injury.
3
I
concussions.
mean, I chipped my tooth like flipping
had-
over my bike.
Counts. Yeah.
Honestly,
I've had 3
Just a couple of
concussions.
them.
I've actually, I don't think I ever have.
I've had 3 concussions.
That's kind of
mean-
shocking, actually. With
I
as
mean-
much as you like dirt bikes and shit, I figure you'd be just
Well,
all fucked up.
I know have had spills, but it was more appendages than
Yeah,
brain.
and I've had 3 concussions. In all fairness, one was on the playground, and one was as a full grown adult. But we were playing, and you were there, Dick. We were
Oh.
playing hide and go seek.
Wow. Not where I thought you were going to guess.
It was-
where you're going
we
with that
were
one.
adults. We were at Stu's girlfriend's house, and all of us adults
Playing hide and go seek.
turn off all the lights and play. Hey, man, playing hide and go seek as adults is fun.
We were in our 20s,
We were in our 20s, yeah.
but giant big old candle. Thing
She had
fell on
a-
his head.
So he hid behind the back headboard on her bed because it was on these giant like pedestals, and I saw him and I reached down and grabbed it by the leg, and when I pulled it out, there was a giant votive candle on top, and votive candle came down on my head. Yeah, it was
Candles in this show, man. Deep history.
But when we were as kids, we rode bikes and stuff. We didn't wear helmets, and I can tell you, I used to ride down the street, stand on the seat, and let go of the handlebars for as long as I could.
Yeah.
And then we'd grab it again, and we would ramp over.
Yep.
We took two regular bricks, the red ones, and a
Yeah.
board.
Oh,
And we would
dude, we
would
went
drop
cinder
the board.
blocks, man.
We didn't have any. Again, we weren't that rich. We just had bricks. I don't even
No,
know.
we
where
found
got
these in like
bricks.
a abandoned building area.
I don't even know where the
Drag 'em
bricks
over.
came from.
But guys, sometimes we would have a kid lay under.
Mhm.
Dude. Okay, I have to tell you, that's how I almost paralyzed my sister. That is legitimately how I almost paralyzed my sister. I tried to jump over on a scooter and landed on her back.
Matt,
Oh damn.
Yeah,
Matt,
she's
does
still
your
mad.
sister speak to you today?
Yes, but she is legitimately not a joke. I will see if I can get her to come on here at some point in time. She is genuinely pissed.
She
like
did it.
30 years later. She's younger. I told her to lay down and I was
How
going
old
to
was
jump
she?
over her.
How old
God, like
was she?
maybe 6.
Damn, Matt.
Yeah.
You sadistic mother effer. How old were you?
I'm like
22?
9. I'm 3 years older than her. I'm the oldest of 5 total. So yeah.
Matt getting this like 6 right now. Like Billy, lay down on this.
Lay the
Billy's
baby
fine,
down in
Matt.
the yard.
Lay
There's no
the baby.
baby,
I
by
can
the
clear
way.
the baby. The baby's little. You saw that. I almost cleared her. I can get the baby. But like we did dangerous shit. And I
Mhm.
don't like there was no repercussion. And now
Trampolines. God.
the things I think about now. Yes, okay, so that's a prime example. When I was young, I would have gotten on a trampoline and not thought 2 shits of it. We, double bouncing each other, whatever. Now I'm one of those parents like
Off of it.
trampolines are
Just
fucking
up and
dangerous.
Yeah, now they have nets around them.
Yeah.
But what happens, guys,
Little
is when you're
snowflakes.
young,
Jeez.
you haven't learned yet. And when you get older, you're like, oh no, yeah, I've known a lot of people that got fucked up. That's what happens.
That's
Like,
why my back hurts now, is because
Wait,
as
I-
a child I jumped on a trampoline way too often.
fucking
Yeah, we
wisdom.
didn't have a safe space when we were your age.
You'll
Yeah.
go through the springs on the side.
We
Oh,
built
that's the
safe
worst
spaces
part.
and they were called forts.
Well, then they're like, we're gonna put that we would prop up with like again
Barbed wire
the
and
wind-
shit.
the
Just-
wind blew too hard. The thing
I used
is,
I used to play with a roll of baling wire one time when I was a kid. Just like it was like
Just give him
like
some
the
of that.
fencing. Yeah, it was like there was enough of it that it actually like formed like a tunnel essentially, and then a bunch of like leaves and sticks landed on top of it. And I was like, I got a little fort now. I'm just playing around in that. It was
I
pretty
remember
so-
when me and a bunch of kids like went to like an open sewer pretending that we were Ninja Turtles during
Oh yeah,
summer
you
camp.
did.
Yeah.
How were you?
I was Donatello.
Yes, you were.
That's, yep.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
We are the Ninja Turtles here. In case
Pretty
people
much,
don't
yeah.
know, it's pretty easy to tell which
got
ones we are.
The
Mhm.
Leonardo,
middle-aged mutant ninja Turtles.
Donatello,
Mm-hmm.
Michelangelo.
No, he's
Nope,
fucking
nope,
Raphael,
nope.
100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
Raphael.
You are
I'm going with
Michelangelo.
I'll take it.
Stu is
I'll
Raphael.
take it.
And I got the attitude.
He's the attitude, man.
I
And
just
you're-
figured he just really liked pizza. So
and you know how you're always yelling cowabunga and
All
pizza
the
time.
turtles like pizza.
Matt, we got to constantly with his cowabungas. It's
Yeah.
over the top.
you'd be surprised how often we edited them out of the show.
You guys don't know, too. Every episode of this, he comes rolling in on his skateboard before he sits
Yeah.
down.
Flinging nunchucks everywhere.
But
I had
seriously, wanna
nunchucks
ask
as a
you
kid,
guys-
actually.
one
They were
guy
coated in
asked
foam
you
when I
guys
got
a
them from
couple
a
of-
state fair, but
I had nunchucks as a kid. Again,
Yeah.
how
In
many?
a car.
How many of you guys? I want to ask you guys a couple of questions. Actually, that leads into this. Before
how
we,
many of us hit ourselves in the nuts with foam coated nunchucks?
Well, these weren't foam coated.
no, seriously, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions before we end this. These aren't necessarily toys, but as kids, how many of you own Ninja Stars, real ones?
I did.
I didn't. I always wanted.
I
them.
actually didn't. I
own
made the
them.
paper
Mine.
ones all the
I
time.
wasn't
man.
as a kid, more in my 20s.
I owned a bunch. I loved Ninja Stars as a kid. And how many of us played with toy guns that didn't have orange tips?
Oh,
I
God,
think
yeah.
most of mine were.
God, when Intertech came out, I wanted them so bad because the look, the feel, the sound, so real. That was their slogan. They looked like real damn guns,
mean,
which ended up being
again-
a very bad thing.
Not to question my age, but I mean, we used to play laser tag.
As
Dude,
adults,
laser tag
yeah,
was awesome.
we bought
Was.
our own gear and we used to play outside till like 3:00 in the morning. Again, as adults. So if you guys have, oh no, dude, it's so much fun.
Or
If you
it
guys,
was, at least.
if you guys have seen Die Hard, the scene in Die Hard where he talks about accidentally shooting a kid because the kid pulled a toy gun and it looked real, that's a genuine thing that happened with an
Yeah.
Intertech gun. Kid actually had an Intertech gun and they were running around outside and the cop came around the corner and it looked like a real gun. So it was because of Intertech where they started painting the orange tips on the barrels of the guns and stuff. So, but I loved Intertech guns, man. And I loved them because they looked real. So
That's
as
the
a kid-
problem.
as a kid, I played with, I was into all the like Rambo movies and stuff. I
Right.
wanted all that stuff. So as a kid, I played with toy swords, toy guns, like all the time. And I'm not out there murdering anybody today. I might want to sometimes, but I don't do it.
So I think I own like a Rambo Uzi. That
They had, he
shot out
also
water,
had and they also had, it was Intertech. Intertech made
Mhm.
Rambo ones and they had a bazooka. Do you remember? It had
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I'm
I forgot
reminded of
about the bazooka.
Airheads.
remember what?
Movie Airheads. Didn't they like film with like hot sauce or something when they took over the radio station in Airheads?
Yeah, they get caught because he shuts the gun in a door and the tip breaks off, right? And it starts like, yeah,
Or no, they were orange tip ones and they painted them black.
they painted them. Yeah, at that point,
Yeah.
they because of Intertech and the kid dying, they started painting them like the black, the orange as a way to kind of help. But you don't really see toy guns much anymore or toy swords. It really doesn't happen. But we played with a lot of them.
Yeah.
You can go to the dollar store and buy toy nunchucks right now. It's
I mean, it got
Well, they
so
don't give a
bad.
fuck
Why
at
aren't we
the
doing that
dollar
right now?
store.
Let's go.
they don't give a fuck in the
It got so bad that they replaced the
That should be
It's
on
like
their
they want
sign.
your poor ass kids to die.
It says on
true.
the dollar
What-
store, we don't give a fuck here.
What Stu
Yeah.
just said. So if anybody watches ET now, all the FBI guys are running around with walkie-talkies, but that was
Mhm.
CGI'd in when we saw that movie. The FBI guys were chasing them kids with freaking guns, man.
Shotguns and
Way more
pistols.
sense, by the way.
Way
Um,
more.
So the other question I wanted to ask you guys is how many of you have been shot with a freaking BB gun?
I shot
not.
someone with a BB gun.
I've been shot with a BB gun.
Not
Yeah.
you. I didn't shoot you.
Well, for those
And,
listening at home, I raised my hand when I should have used my words. Yeah. Forgot this is an audio podcast too.
So 3 out of 4 of us have actually been shot with a BB gun, probably as kids or young adult or teenagers. And
I didn't get shot. I was a shooter.
now, in all fairness, mine was an accident. I got shot.
I
in the
might be
leg
thinking of a airsoft gun actually, but still,
because
I
of
heard
the
like a
mean too.
bitch.
I didn't either.
But I mean, I played with a lot of BB. I owned multiple BB guns growing up. Like it was just a thing. So it's bizarre to me.
A lot of hurt squirrels.
Did you shoot squirrels, you dick? I didn't shoot.
I didn't
any
have a
squirrels.
Fucking
gun.
serial
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
God
Oh, you're
damn.
just saying that people were shooting
Yeah.
squirrels.
Yeah.
Okay. He's
Oh,
like, I
no.
did.
All right.
When I accidentally shot Randy, but it was his gun.
Well, that's shoot.
And
with
it's
Do on
since
a
I shot it
grassy knoll,
around-
taking shots
Listen,
at
man,
squirrels.
I'm not pissed if you shoot Randy. I'm only pissed if you shoot a squirrel. Randy might have deserved it. What did that squirrel do? In a totally not toy or child play thing related at all, but I'm kind of curious. Has anybody here besides me ever been shocked by an electric fence?
No.
Fucking hurts.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I
I've been
used to
electrocuted.
have electric
last
fence in my
outlet.
backyard. So
That's why cows are like, fuck that thing, because it hurts. I got
But did
I got
you pee
shot
on it?
by. No, I did not pee on it. It
I
hit
didn't
my-
either,
we were-
but I was just curious.
we were
if that's what
crawling
you
under
did.
it and it hit my back. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Stu and I know we're vamping a lot, but you said that I was actually in a grocery store once. This was the late 80s. King Supers out in Colorado, and they had a arcade cabinet there, and it had a bolt sticking out of it a little bit.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I
you talking about
freaking
that.
leaned over and touched the bolt, and it shocked me so hard it threw me to the floor.
Ooh. Not
course, I
what
was a kid.
expected. I thought you were gonna say you brushed up against it and it like cut you or something, but
I know I didn't do any harm.
shocking news.
Oh, I will tell you what though. This one time, back in the late 80s, I was
Band
at a
camp.
I
knew that
grocery
was
store
coming.
called King Supers out in Colorado, and I had a bolt sticking out of the machine. And I touched it, and it shocked me so hard it threw me to the floor. Didn't do any real damage though, but yeah.
I see what you did there, and I appreciate it.
Took a minute. Yeah.
I thought it was for editing purposes. I was like, All right.
That really
we'll
did
cut
happen.
out the other
But
one.
as a kid, you're not gonna like go tell like you think it's your fault, so you just wipe it off and walk away. Like I ain't telling mom.
What just happened?
Stu brings up a point though that I do want to say before we close this thing out, and I really didn't think about it. I've gotten a concussion as an adult. We were talking about I got shot with a BB gun as an older teenager.
He frequently has strokes
I-
on this show.
I fractured my back on a sled as a fucking adult. Apparently, I've done more damage to myself as a grown up than I ever did. Like, I should be on an episode of Jackass for shit's sake.
Define grown up.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about our action figures earlier, so I can't really get that too much, but are there any other toys or anything you guys can think of that you were like, oh, that's a bad idea?
Offhand, I can't, but
Like where you just saw it and you're like, that does not seem like a good idea. I know that they recalled, I think, do you guys remember Captain Power?
Oh yeah.
So I know they recalled some of those toys because the you would shoot like these lights at the TV screen to get it to interact, and the lights were doing like if you hit somebody in the eyes with them, they were I think doing some damage. But like I can't think of any toys. I know there were a lot of toys growing up that I thought seemed dangerous to me, but they just became part of our life, so it was okay. So there you go.
And then what about toys that shouldn't have injured you that actually did? Like any of those? Anything
I
like
can't
that?
really like I said, the skip it, you know, that was one of them. Stewie brought up this
Stepping on a Lego block kind of sucks.
stomper.
Micro
I read
machine
something the
getting
other
stuck in
day,
your
it was
nose
like,
or something.
for all of you who complain about stepping on Legos, when we were kids, we had balls and jacks. They're like, if you've ever stepped on one of those. And the
There's a
original
reason they
jacks
did that in
were
Home Alone.
metal, not plastic.
Oof.
Both would hurt.
Not
Yeah.
plastic.
Those
There
are
you
the
go.
things
There's just
throw
some of
down
the-
behind you.
Some of the toys that have been banned over the years and some of the dumb things we did as kids. I would love for you guys to kind of give us some feedback on toys you think, God, how did this ever make it to market? You know, because this was just endlessly dangerous. There's a lot of toys out there that were like, how did it make it to market? Because I can't believe somebody didn't see this thing look like a freaking penis or whatever. But
Yeah, that's the one's out now.
we're talking about stuff where, like, oh my
The
God,
Harry
this seems
Potter
like
broomstick, the Nimbus 2000.
Or the
whatever.
ET finger.
the ET
Oh,
finger.
the chocolate Santas.
But I want to know, like, if there was
What?
anything where you guys,
Yeah, there's chocolate Santas if you that are in the foil, and once you undo the foil, it looks like a freaking penis.
yeah, it doesn't look like Santa Claus anymore.
Okay.
Because all the
Yeah.
detailed drawing stuff is only on the foil. It's not on the actual chocolate.
It's pretty rough.
But like, are there any?
Google search history is fucked right now. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you were saying. Wow.
It's like I get it now.
Yeah.
Well,
I just
it was
Googled
really just-
chocolate Santa penis and it was like, yep, there's results.
Maybe don't
Don't.
Google chocolate Santa penis.
Don't
Name for my
Google
sex tape.
I'm putting
That's-
a photo right there. I'm putting a photo right there. Everyone has to see this.
Kevin said name of my sex tape, chocolate Santa.
Just
Oh,
don't
no.
Google
It's even
blue waffle.
worse. There's one that because of the mold where it pulls the last bit of chocolate off, it actually leaves. Oh my God.
But guys, what I want to know is
I'll send you
I don't
that
want to know
later.
about your chocolate Santa penises. What I want to know is if there were any toys you had as a kid that hurt you, that like you did some damage.
Emotionally.
I mean,
So
aside from my bike,
not you directly. I was talking to the listeners
Oh.
at home. The best way to do that, of course, is you can follow us on our social medias. We are Tapeworms Fans of the Mixtape Podcast over on Facebook. We get a lot of interaction over there. There's a lot of discussion over there. I thank you, Mike, because I just posted the Van Halen Pizza Shop thing. If you saw that, and there's a it's called Hot for Pizza.
oh, dude, I want to go there.
and Mike posted on it, and what did he say? He said, "Oh God," he quoted lines from the actual song, only he exchanged it for, "I wonder what the pepperoni is going to look like this year." And I was like, "What did I say?" I was like, "I brought my slicer. Yo, man, does anybody have anything I can eat on?"
And I put, I don't feel cheesy.
Oh, that was cheesy, but I love it. I love it. It's so good. So that's the kind of fun interaction you can find over on our Facebook page. So go over and join us there. We also post a lot of events, concerts, things like that we see coming up in different areas. So it's a good place to get informed. We are on Instagram. You can go over and follow Instagram. We are on TikTok, and we are on, I guess, X, whatever, Twitter. We're on Twitter. Those are all places you can follow us online. And if you
all
just want to write
scrolling
it,
right there on screen if you're watching this on YouTube.
and we are in YouTube. We are on YouTube now, and we have been releasing videos. And if you watch the first few, we knew
Kinda
We
rough.
apologize.
we knew that. We just decided, like, much like the show, we're going to launch, and then we'll work out all the kinks as we move along, and we've done that. We've been cleaning it up and figuring out what works better and how to fix things. So we're on YouTube. You can go over there and check out our videos on YouTube, and like I said, TikTok, all that good stuff. If you just want to email us, we are the mixtape show at gmail.com, and we have a phone number. We haven't really been talking about it. It is anybody 513
437
437-2377. Yep.
there you go. So
I have it
I'm sure
memorized,
Matt
apparently.
I'm sure Matt will put it on the screen if you're watching at home. So you
Yep.
can call and leave us a voicemail as well. But let us know some of the toys you played with that caused bodily harm, or if you tried to murder one of your siblings with toys like Matt did, apparently with every toy he owned. and other family members.
We were just trying to recreate Highlander. The only
The
one.
only
There can only be one.
The Highlander head chopping sword, now from Tony.
Oh my god.
Tommy. I meant
Here we go. It's just a kid holding up a sword.
All right, guys. I think that's all we got. We appreciate everybody checking us out. Please share, like, tell your friends about us, tell your enemies about us, just tell everybody about us. And I think that's it. All right, guys. Well, to all you fine folks at home who we love and adore and cherish so much, remember, until next we have the opportunity to speak to you, to always stay
awesome.
Thank you for watching the mixtape. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon for notifications when new videos come out. And remember to always stay awesome.